Hi, Fiona. So Fiona Hild is our care funding consultant. And it'd just be good, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do at Clarity Care Consulting, Fiona, regarding care fees advice?
Indeed. So, as we all know, care fees advice is complicated and almost has a language of its own. So, my job is to help our clients understand where they, in particular, stand. So, it's a very bespoke service because everybody has different circumstances, everybody's in a different place. So, what I do is we arrange an hour's meeting. I get some information beforehand so that we can make sure that what we talk about is very particular to them. So I'll ask for information about assets and income and things like that. And then what I will do is usually they have a list of questions. So I'll let them ask all their questions first to start with. And then we go through everything. Now, by everything, what we mean by that is there's usually a house involved. So if there's a partner or a spouse in there, they're worried about their position, what will happen to them. They're worried about how everything will get paid for. Are they entitled to any income from the person in care? They are worried that they'll have to move and live somewhere smaller. And so we explain what they need to do, how they need to deal with that. We can look at if it's a parent that's gone into care and the council are talking about deferred payments agreements or disregards or all sorts of language that people don't really understand. And they might consider they want to rent the property out. They don't understand how that will work. They may not be able to do what they would like to do. So my job is to provide them with all the information regarding the situation, very particular to them, and then they can make educated decisions. They can say, we'd like to do this, or we can do that. Um, After the hours meeting, I will always produce a report because you can't listen to somebody and make notes at the same time. You want to be able to use the hour fully to get all the information you need. And that report's normally 2 or 3 pages long. It will set out what we've discussed, not every detail, but headings like the house, how will that be dealt with? Income, how that will be looked at. So if the person is in care, will their income get taken? When will adult services start looking to contribute? How will they contribute? What's taken into account? I will then explain who's liable for bills if somebody's living in the property. What happens with council tax? Are they getting attendance allowance? Is there funded nursing care? All of these words that suddenly are now part of people's lives when care comes up. And they need to know what it means and how it affects the person they're caring for. They're worried about mum maybe, or mum is worried about, the wife is worried about where she is and what she stands. So we look at absolutely everything. And then in my report, as I say, it sets out what the advice is. It also sets out what the next steps are, what they should do. I like to call it homework, so that they've got something that they go away and do. But they also know when they might need some next advice, so that they can say, right, okay, we're all good until then, and then we need it. The one thing I would say to people is it is always better to get advice sooner than later. From experience, if we get advice up front and everything goes right from the beginning, it's always without fail cheaper than if you have to come back to deal with retrospective. Nobody wants to have to sit there, even those of us that love spreadsheets, trying to work out where we should have been 4 years ago and trying to make it all right and doing the maths for that. It is much simpler and cheaper to do it now so that you can make decisions going forward. You know where you stand. If you're an attorney or a deputy, you know what you need to do. You know who you need to speak to. You know how to protect yourself while you're looking after somebody else. And it just makes sure that they've got all the information, they know what to do next, and they can make decisions having been told everything, importantly, in a language they understand. They haven't got somebody saying, oh, but this, oh, but that. It is very, this is where you are. And we like to give good advice, easily understandable, so that people know where they are.
Is there a good time? I mean, obviously, you're saying about people getting advice, in advance. is there a good time? When should somebody actually come to us to sort of talk to you? I'm just thinking that a lot of people that sort of call our offices are often in crisis situation. It's the first time they've come across care because they've been thrown into a situation. Is there an ideal time that somebody should be coming and getting the advice?
So, hopefully they're getting advice about where the person should live and deal with all of that. So as soon as the person has moved into care and you are over the immediate crisis and you've got a little bit of headspace to now think about the money, that's a really good time. Ideally, obviously, it would be nice if people could come to us when before somebody moves into care so they understand what's going on. But I appreciate in real life you've got way too many crises to deal with. So it's in a crisis situation, sort the initial problem. Is the person safe? Are they being looked after? Then come to me. If you've got somebody with a progressive disease, dementia, they are gradually getting worse with all sorts of horrible things that seem to happen, then get advice before you hit crisis. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will use that advice then, but at least you know what your options will be when the time comes. So what you don't have is somebody who suddenly their husband's gone into care. They literally have no idea what they're going to do. If they've got advice beforehand, so this is when you need to look at these things, as in, if there's a stroke or something like that, you know that your house is going to be okay. You know how you're going to live, and it just takes a great deal of the pressure and the trauma and the stress out of the situation. So advice up front is good, but if you have a crisis and suddenly there's a fall, they're in hospital, they've got to go into care, then once you've dealt with the initial, come to us as soon as possible so that we can make sure that everything has been done correctly. And it's much easier to amend things at that stage than once somebody's been settled in and suddenly you've run out of money and now you don't know what on earth's going to go on.
Absolutely. So that's great advice. Thank you. And I think you always, I mean, I know that from clients that talk to you, always have come away with some really good stuff to sort of action, which is brilliant. So thank you.